All right, YouTube, a State Department audit has faulted Hillary Clinton for gross negligence in the email scandal. This is, by the way, connected to but not the same as the FBI probe. The FBI has basically thrown up their hands and said, fuck it. It's fairly obvious they're not going to do anything about the fact that Hillary Clinton provably broke the law on multiple occasions. The State Department, though, in their audit said, yeah, she broke the rules. She broke the internal rules of the State Department. But we got to remember something. While this is not a phony scandal, it's also not particularly important at this point in the election. It's been going on for quite some time, and other than taking a hit to her trustworthiness, which was already low, let's face it, because she's Hillary Clinton, other than that affecting maybe a small minority of independent voters, does it really rankle anybody? Does anybody find it strange that Hillary Clinton lied? The answer is no. Nobody fucking holds any hope that she would not lie on any given occasion. We all know that she's a chronic manipulative liar. We know that. We've known this since the 1970s, essentially, since the Watergate era. Everybody knows that Hillary Clinton, when she opens her mouth, most of what comes out is not true. PolitiFact aside, they can cherry pick through her statements if they want to make sure they weed out some which were real humdingers. We know she was lying. Does that mean the FBI is going to throw her in a cell? Probably not. Does that mean she's going to get fined or made to come before court by the State Department, or Obama or Loretta Lynch, of all people, is going to actually do anything about it? Of course not. They're not going to do bullshit about it. She's allied with people like Loretta Lynch. She probably forced Obama to put her in that position. Obama may not be a big friend to the Clintons. It's kind of obvious. When they're on stage together, they look daggers at each other. You can tell he pathologically hates Hillary Clinton. I think because she tried to screw her way into the 2008 nomination, and of course she hates him because he weaseled his way in instead. But yeah, let's make one thing clear here. It doesn't matter what criminal acts she actually performs. She's done many of them during her time alive on this planet. Hillary Clinton is a criminal. But will she ever serve a day behind bars for any of those crimes, which in some cases rise to the felonious level? No, because she's a career politician with an entrenched, small and shrinking, but entrenched group of allies within the DNC. The head of the DNC is her former campaign spokesperson. She's not going to go to prison for this. When pages dedicated, the Impeach Obama page is a great example. When pages dedicated to fighting off liberals or end the Democratic Party or whatever, when they cheer and jeer over a report like this, it's just a distraction from more worthy things. Let's focus on, we know she's inept. We know she's corrupt in a general sense. You can pick and choose from dozens of different scandals involving her. We know that she shielded her husband on rape claims and sexual assault claims. We know she's embezzled money. We know the Clinton Foundation gets funded by China and Saudi Arabia. There's so much dirt on Hillary Clinton that the fact that she's even still in the race honestly just shows how partisan a minority group within this country is. A minority of the people within this country are partisans either for the Democratic or Republican parties. It's very difficult to woo them over to the other side. It's just as difficult to turn them into independents. It takes a monumental shift in politics to make that happen. By the way, we're undergoing one right now. A lot of lifelong Democrats, or mostly lifelong Democrats, are abandoning the Democratic Party just as a sliver of the GOP has sort of cracked away from the core of the GOP. You have people like Ben Shapiro, Glenn Beck, I'll never vote Republican again. Now it's the party of Satan. I'm going to go off and be, I don't know what he's, dedicated Tea Party person, Republicans 2.0 or something. The Jesus Party, you can call it. But no, Hillary Clinton's alienated everyone, done everything possible wrong, and only the fact that she's a Clinton and she's a mobster has kept her out of a jail cell. But it's not going to stop working just because she's older and not as well-spoken as before. Obama will, whether he likes it or not, shield her for political reasons. How would it look, by the way, to those saying, oh, well, Obama doesn't like Hillary, so maybe he'll throw the book at her and let her rot in a jail cell? How would it look for Obama's first pick for Secretary of State, who almost became the U.S. president, who supposedly is a friend or at least ally of Obama's, to get thrown in a jail cell for, violating various codes of ethics and breaking a federal law here and there? How would it make him look? How would it make him look when the investigation has been so obviously dragged out despite the FBI knowing full well what she did fairly early on? How would it look for Obama? It wouldn't look very good. It would lose him support among independents especially, which he's barely managing to cobble back together because the economy happens to be sluggishly growing at a snail's pace right now. He's not going to endanger that by taking his former Secretary of State, throwing her in a jail cell, when she probably has just as much dirt on him as he has on her. It would be sort of she would stab him in the back in a heartbeat if he ever did that to her. So obviously Obama will continue shielding her, even if he doesn't like her. And he's probably waiting to get appointed to some sort of position, ambassador to Croatia or something, should she win. I don't think he has much hope in her winning. That's why he had to come out of the woodwork and try to attack Trump as well, which is very strange considering his general absence during the midterms when people thought he was toxic and didn't want to get anywhere near him. I guess the idea is that Hillary Clinton's even more toxic than Obama at this point. But no, the email scandal is a real scandal. She obviously did break the law. She obviously violated 1,000 different rules of State Department ethics. That doesn't mean, though, that she's going to actually suffer for this. She's not actually going to get brought up on charges. Nothing like that's going to happen. She will escape scot-free. Now, will she win the election? I say no. I think she's been completely outmatched, which is good for the country. But at the same time, no, I don't expect you'll see Hillary in a jail cell. I wouldn't expect, by the way, even Trump to throw her in a jail cell. It's obvious she owes him a favor here, he owes her a favor there. They've mingled in the past. She'll call in whatever favor she has and escape scot-free even then. Even if he's like in full nativist mode, even if he really is as patriotic as he claims to be, which I don't know if that's entirely true on every count. I think he cares about the nation, but let's assume he's a human being. Even then, I don't think that he'll violate that, because then what if she calls in a favor with someone she's allied with, and they have some obscure shit on Trump or something like that, or one of his friends, his son, his wife, some business associate of his that owes him a bunch of money. It's just not going to happen. That's the way money changes hands in politics and business and in banking. And all of that money has cocaine dust on it as well. That's how it changes hands. It builds up a very complicated web of individuals. Strange bedfellows is the old term. Politics makes strange bedfellows. I think it's unthinkable to think at this point, this late in the game, she's going to get thrown in a cell for this. Even if, quite literally, the State Department's own internal audit said, yeah, you broke this rule, broke that rule, this breach of etiquette, that violation of ethics or whatever, she's not going to serve a day. That's about all. Peace out.